Welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality with Michael Cole, the podcast that shines a compassionate light on the journey of veterans battling through life's challenges. Michael is a dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist in coaching and keynote training presentations, dedicated to guiding military veterans as they navigate the intricate pathways of post-deployment life. Join him as we delve into the profound realm of neuroencoding science, empowering these brave individuals to conquer universal battles, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and more. Together, let's uncover the strength within you to re-engage with families and society, forging a new path forward.
Hello, everybody. So, Cindy is a dear, dear loved friend. And so we're talking and talking and talking. And it's like, okay, we need to get everything set up. So Cindy, just want to tell people a little bit about you. So Cindy Gould is transformation coach and dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist, empowering others to navigate through profound change and trauma. She has a deep commitment, family members and so on, to helping veterans and their families rebuild their lives, focusing on resilience and self-rediscovery. She specializes in guiding individuals to break free from limiting beliefs, enabling them to rewrite their life stories with purpose and empowerment. And that's what we're going to really dive into today. So Cindy, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, and welcome.
Thank you. What do you want to know?
Anything else you want to share, my dear friend?
You know what? First of all, thank you for having me back. I had the privilege and honor, of course, of helping you launch this baby. And I'm so proud of you and everything that you've done, especially the light that you shine on the audience that you do and their families, and the way that you are kind of like a beacon for them just to be able to heal. And I think that's the most important part. It's like you've got this much time on this earth, and I love what you and Susan are doing. It's like amazing. So thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. So absolutely.
So Cindy, why don't you tell us, for people that, didn't see the very first episode, or hear it for that matter on the podcast forums, what drew you into this realm to help people with the Victory Network and of course your coaching programs?
Yeah. So you know what? It's interesting. I have always kind of been that girl. I grew up in a really amazing family. And my father, as was military as well, and Army. And I lived around bases and, in Hawaii, like, please, there's no way around. There's bases everywhere on Oahu, but what I would say is that, I grew up watching my parents really just have what I would say, I'm Hawaiian and Sicilian, but have aloha for others, like really have love. Now, my Christian roots would also say, to have like Christ-like love. But what I really saw was they were always a blessing to other people, and they were, and continue to be, like my mother still, and my father, when he was here, just looked for ways that they could serve, all the time, no matter where they were at, and to up level everybody's, situation, no matter what. If it's a grocery store, helping somebody unload groceries into their car, or if it's, a neighbor that's sick. And I grew up in a home where if you have a sick neighbor, my mother, tablecloth, flowers, food, dessert, the whole shebang, all of that would go to feed their family if mama was sick, in the household. And it was just like, yeah. So it just came by naturally. And now fast forward to what I do. And yes, the Victory Network, find it on Facebook, which I love. Thank you. And then of course, my show, Create Your Victorious Life. But my heart and my passion really are to help people go from trauma to triumph. Like, like, who are you really? Why are you here? And what the heck are you going to do about it? And right. Like, you might know the few things, but what are you going to do? And no matter what has happened in your life, where you're at right now, where are you at? Where do you know is your God-given purpose? And what's stopping you in between? And my goal is just to help you close that gap and get you doing your thing.
Love it.
So,
Absolutely. And the passion, there are very few people that shine the light that you do.
oh,
Truly. I mean, the integrity and the love and just truly just to serve and to be there to help people. And you're just an amazing soul, my friend. You
thank
truly are.
you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
absolutely welcome. So let's get into um the deep of it, right?
Okay. Let's
All right.
just jump.
All
Hey,
right.
come on.
And what's that?
More swimmers, more surfers. Let's jump in.
Right? Time to paddle.
Paddle out.
Just before we do, on the top, I always point the wrong way. I did it. The top right-hand corner of your screen, there's a blue QR code. Please scan that. It goes to Empower Performance Strategies. It's going to be so hard to focus. EmpowerPerformanceStrategies.com for people listening on the podcast forums later. And it has all kinds of resources for trainings and Facebook groups to be involved and be connected with similar minded people. So, couple of ebooks that I've written as well, absolutely free. Please download them. So let's dive in. So we're talking about, transforming, your story and changing your life, right? Change your story, change your life.
Yeah.
So let's just again dive in with, a veteran is transitioning out, going home from the military, or reintegrating into normal society, civilian society, I should say. So where would you say, hey, this is what you should be thinking about? This is where you should start.
Well, I want to share, like, especially where your story is concerned, you know, um, the meaning that we give is the life that we live, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And you and I could have completely different meanings in the exact same event. We could both be sitting side by side in the exact same event and have completely different meanings and different things going on in our heads. And, to your point and to your question, the first thing I would do is if I were the person, even chatting, if it was a family member or a loved one, I would ask them, what's on your heart? What's really on your heart? Not what's in your head. I need to, get a place. I need to do this, or I need to make whatever those situations are, whatever that is, but really what's on your heart. Because and you and I've heard this before with, Tony Robbins says, if you stay in your head, you're dead. And I add, yeah, but when you stay in your heart, you're smart. And so, and let that guide you, right? Thank you. And let that guide you. And so what's really in your heart to do? So I would ask, like, what do you really want to do? Not kind of like, okay, I got to go. I got to do this. I've got to, all the things, right? All the things. But at the end of the day, what feels congruent here for you? Because when you follow that, it's a no-brainer, right? And that would be the first thing. And then I'd really, I guess it would depend on their situation and what they were going into.
Right. So really it's what would you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of your head, what would you love? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what's going to give you that purpose, that fulfillment,
Right.
And
Right.
if you can take those amazing skill sets that you learned in the military, that so many military forget,
Right.
because they just get back in the real world, they have that leadership, they have those, I'm going to figure it out, I can figure it out, that confidence, those kinds of things. So if you have those and use those, you can do literally anything. I truly believe that. And I think we both coach that all the time. So what would you say you figure out your fulfillment, and can we go through the 7 whys?
Why don't you?
No, I want you to. So when you go through and you're trying to figure out your whys, and you're going layer after layer, and you keep asking yourself why.
Why?
And as you get deeper and deeper and deeper, I mean, at some point you hit, and it's usually at the 7th, when you go deeper and you find that. So what has been your experience with that, if you will?
A lot of times people hijack their whys with the how. Right?
Yep.
And when you really align with your why, I believe that every single thing, and to your point earlier about all of the amazing things that our military learn, no matter what their job is in the military, that they can apply in magnificent ways in their civilian life, right? But no matter what, I believe that everything you want is in the quantum. Everything you want is in the field, like no matter what. And our job really is just to point and click. Like Joseph will say, our mentor, Joseph McClendon III, and happy birthday again. But
Happy birthday.
yes, loved your post, by the way. I was at that event with you and your wife.
You were.
But what he would say is, put in your order, and like what he did with his home, right? And what he continues to do. And I would add, though, that your order is already in. All you have to do is go up to the counter and pick it up. It's kind of like, Michael, here's your order, and here's your fries and your shake and the whole, shebang. So when you're going through the whys, the order's already there. So when you get to the anchor of because fill in the blank, right? Because it brings me joy, because it lights my soul on fire, because it whatever, then all of the how is going to line up. Because if you're in alignment with what that is, it's already like done for you. It's already done. So then all of it's just going to line up. And then the how's going to come to you. So like if I were, let's say you're the veteran and I'm working with you, I would do exactly, okay, but why do you want that? Okay, but why?
Why?
But why? What's it going to do for you? The question is, right? And then, but when you get to it, and typically a lot of times when somebody gets there, they're either in tears of joy or just like, okay, let's go, because they're so ready to go. And then it makes it easy to figure out, sometimes not simple, but easy to see the steps to get there.
Absolutely. And it's just like you said, it's so powerful because your soul literally speaks to you. It's like the mirror exercise that I teach people, and I'm sure you do as well. When you look in the mirror, look in your eyes, look into your soul and say, I love you. And you feel it when you look in your eyes. It's the same thing. You literally feel it. And it's powerful, man. It's super powerful. So it's the same thing that's what I've experienced. So thank you for talking about that, first of all, and going through the whys. And you're right. You're so right, Cindy. If you just go, yeah, I want $1 million. Okay, how am I going to do that? Well, you get so stuck in your head instead of just knowing what you want and aligning with it. And it's then the answers come. It's so amazing how many times I'm coaching somebody or doing a training and the answers are all there. They already know it. I have found more often than not, I'm going to say 99.9%. You know it, and you know the steps, and it's in you, and it's just taking the action then. Creating the plan and taking the action, taking that one step.
Right. Well, and to your point with the whys. So I want $1 million. Yay. And why? And then by the time you get to, well, because I want to be able to take my family on vacation, I want to be able to live debt free. Why? Okay, well, we want to go on a vacation because fill in the blank. My wife's always wanted to go to Tahiti and the kids would have so much fun at the beach. Why? Right? And because, and at the end of the day, because I just want us all to feel the sun and for me to snuggle my babies and just feel the joy of that water splashing on us and all the memories that it'll make.
Yep. Okay. I want that connection. I want, those things, and that's a lot of times it comes down to those 6 needs that we as humans, have to have or need. And it's, those kinds of things. It's that certainty. It's that security. It's those kinds of things that it's like, that's the real fulfillment. That's the real reasons we want the things that seem superficial that are there. And that's the beauty of the 7 whys. So, and I learned that from you, just so you know. Please. Please.
Thank you. Well, I just want to share something. So here's where people a lot of times disconnect. So you get your why, you get your why. What's imperative is that your why isn't here. So our brain is electric, our mind's electric, our heart is magnetic. And the job is to keep, to protect the kingdom, to protect, for me, the queendom, to protect the empire, right? And so the only frame of reference that it has is here and your history. So if your history is, I want, or whatever, and then well, we have January coming up. So I want to drop the 20 pounds. I want to whatever. And then, a week and a half in, there's no longer Planet Fitness. It's, it's Netflix fitness and, whatever. Right. And instead, because this didn't get in complete alignment. And so when you have that why, and you get to the point where, I mean, it's funny because if you could see it, I have like in Hawaii, we'd say, hey, I got chicken skin. You can see it like goosebumps, right? So when you get to the point where I'm feeling the ocean, I can hear it. I'm feeling it on my skin. My babies are tan. Their skin is glistening. My wife, holy smack, she's like off the charts with her joy and her smile. Feel that to your fingertips. Your brain doesn't know the difference between that's actually happened and it hasn't. So this is a hack for anybody. When you want to create that, you need to feel it all the way to your fingertips, to the bottoms of your toes. Feel it and get it locked and loaded so your body remembers what that feels like. And what will happen is it starts to look for evidence in your life to make that happen. And so your heart will start to magnetize. And here's the cool things. So then all of a sudden, from nowhere, you're going to start, well, because you're talking about it, you'll see it on your phone, but you're going to actually start seeing billboards for Tahiti, or, somebody will say, oh my gosh, I have this situation and I have these tickets I can't use to Tahiti, right? All these things are going to start to line up for you. There aren't any coincidences or accidents. These are like legit because you're making that happen.
Absolutely amazing. You talk about, seeing it, right? And things starting to happen. If you look back, and I challenge everybody listening in the future, if you look back at your successes, your success story, or whatever you want to call it, you look back on something you wanted, and all of a sudden you start seeing it around because you're focusing on it. That before you never even thought about having that Mustang or whatever the case may be. And I'm just using something simple. But all of a sudden you see, man, I've seen like 18 Mustangs in the last hour. You start focusing on those things and it changes that trajectory. It really brings it more into place. So when you go back to your success formula, if you will, look at that and think about how all of a sudden, you saw things and they started just aligning because
Right.
you wanted it, because you did take some action. Of course, things don't just, magically $1 million in the bank so you can take your family to Tahiti or whatever the case may be. So really, I just want to stress to look back, because, some people will be like, oh yeah, that's not real. But there's proof. Look back in your life on things you thought about that you accomplished, because it shows not only your success formula, but it shows the reality of what Cindy's saying is absolutely true. And I've seen it in my life so many times.
Oh, so many times, right? So let's apply it to even your audience. So let's take away tangibles like trips and cars and things, material things. Let's apply it to healing. Let's apply it. So what does that look like? How do I magnetize my healing? How do I make that happen in my heart? How do I have a day where I wake up every day and I'm freaking enjoy, like I'm so excited to get for my day? Well, the same principles apply. You see, what does a joyful person look like? What does joy feel like to you? If I were a joyful person, what does that feel like to me? How do I look? How do I dress? How do I stand? How do I walk? Who do I talk with? What do I eat? Does a joyful person sit around eating fries with tartar sauce? Perhaps, but
Your model of the world. Your model of the world.
Your model of the world. Or is it Taco Tuesday every day? Yeah. Whatever that is, right? Or is it brisket? Because I know somebody who makes the best brisket on the planet, Michael Cole. Whatever that looks like to you. And then that you just, again, do the same principles. What does healing look like? Does healing look like pain-free? Heck yeah, it does. Now, here's where it gets kind of tricky, because if you've lived a life where you've believed this story that I'm in pain, and you have evidence to believe that, I'm not minimizing that. I have family members that live in chronic pain. When you live that life, it takes a lot to get you to a place where here believes that you're no longer there. but it is possible. And all you have to do is really believe that it's possible, and then make that a practice. Like you said, the mirror exercise is a perfect way to do that.
Yeah.
Meditation and prayer, another perfect way to do that. And even if it's just snippets of time, just a little bit of time every day, and then you just start stacking it like an avalanche, right? Or like at the gym, building your muscles. You just, okay, I'm going to walk for 2 minutes today. I'm going to get off the couch today. I'm going to, not Uber. I'll actually make oatmeal today. That's my meal. Who cares? Let's just make it, right? Whatever it takes to just move the needle forward so that your outward picture looks like the inward, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I love this. And so let's throw in some neuroencoding, shall we?
Oh, that's
weird. So what are some thoughts for, of course, celebrating, right? One of the most important things we can do for ourselves. Releases all the good hormones. But the other amazing things it does is when you celebrate a certain thing, like, hey, I got out of bed and I didn't feel any pain. Woohoo! Celebrating, pat yourself on the back, shake your ass, as we know, as astitude, right? But creating those things makes your brain look for it more, right? And it changes the physiology, it changes the neural pathways, all of those things, and reinforces them even. So what are some thoughts for you as far as for neuroencoding on how you start to believe it?
Well, first of all, you create your entire world in your thoughts. 100%. So let me give you an example, and this, you'll catch the example, but it goes back to the mirror exercise. I remember there was a day last year, I think it was about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, and I was having a rough day. And I was literally, I was crying. And I could hardly catch my breath because I was just having a really sad day. And I forced myself to do the mirror exercise. Like, I forced myself, and this is what happened. When you look yourself deep in your soul, like you look yourself in the eye, do not break your stare. And what happened for me was, as I'm forcing myself to do this, because I needed it to shift, it was so profound because I fell in love with the woman who was devastated and heartbroken. I actually connected to her. What happens a lot of time in pain, sadness, sorrow, all of that, we on purpose disconnect because it's too much. When you reconnect that, then you give yourself an opportunity to heal that. And so that's how you start. Because we know this, as you think, so we feel, right? As we feel, so we do. As we do, so we have. So if you don't like what you have, work your way back up the ladder. So what did I do to get that? What was I feeling that caused me to do that, to have that? Okay, well, what the heck was I thinking, right? And it could be stuff like, because we know our neurons that fire together wire together. So you were programmed as a child and you don't even know why you do stuff. Like, how many of you, I know people, I actually know a person, every time they get peanut butter, this is such a weird example, but it's like this thing, they get peanut butter, they grab a big spoon and they eat the peanut butter, or like I used to, when I made sandwiches for the work crew, because our crew that, when I was married, we had a work crew and I'd make food, and my family members that were in the work crew, I took a bite of their sandwich every single time and left a little note in their thing. And if I didn't, because I was in a hurry, I got messages. Hey, what the heck? Right? Because we programmed it though, and it was a joyful thing. So again, if you don't like what you have, go back and see what you've thought. And what do you really think? And if what you think is not going to give you what you have, that's where you change it. And your beliefs happen here, from your thoughts and here. And that's where, that's where all the magic happens. Like, you can create at the speed of thought. Isn't that a concept?
Right? That is an amazing concept. It is a beautiful thing. Absolutely. So God, I love those examples. Thank you. So let's kind of move a little bit into your story, your changing your life, right? Changing your story changed your life. And I know we've got about 5 minutes left here because it's us.
I know, I'm like, already?
I know, right? I know. I think we talked that long before we got on here. So if we can, what are some of the key points you would say to walk somebody through how to do that?
Again, actually what I just said, it
Yeah.
really boils down to your thoughts. Like for me, I had to not be, well, my mom, my mom used to tease me. My middle name, my Hawaiian name is Puanani. And so, oh, are we having a pity party for Pooh? Because, I mean, seriously, like, yeah. And, and 16-year-old girls, right? Please. Or what I would say is don't be a whiny pee pants. Now, it's okay if you, yes, feel your stuff and yes, all those things. But honestly, this is a game, the game of life. We have a very real opponent. We have other players. Your job is to be what? The master of the game board. How do you want to win? Right? You have to be a strategist. You have to think in, well, you don't have to, you can do whatever you want, but I have to think in strategy. So for me, this is where I wanted to be. This is where I was. How do I mitigate or shorten the distance between here, and here? Right.
Yeah.
And that's really what I had to do. And I knew that would only happen by here. So let me give you a real quick example. I know we're short on time.
No, we're okay. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Because this is mind blowing for me. So every year I go through this process. I typically fast the first 21 days of January. I set the intentions for my year. I do all these things and I create what I call a gratitude board. Many people, I used to call them vision boards. I don't want to hold the vision. I want to see it as already done. So for me, if it's a gratitude board, I'm so grateful, thankful, and happy that fill in the blank, right? So I really, and it's a big deal to me. It's not a kind of sort of like I sort of do it. I have a board, I have a book. The book goes with me even when I travel so I can see it. I can see my stuff. I keep it in front of me. And then I have, okay. So before, the winter before I moved out and started my divorce, which, was that wonderful year. That's when I joined the Neuroencoding Institute was in April of 2021. Well, I had done my process with my vision board before that. This is so cool, Michael. I anchored it into my being so much I didn't think about it because all of a sudden I'm faced with holy smack. Now I'm moving out. And then, as you know, I had lots of loss during that year. When I got my belongings, I put a lot of stuff into storage. Part of it was my vision board and stuff. Who cares about that when you're going through, you know what I mean? It's like the vision I had, right? I even had things though on that vision of, meet Joseph McClellan III. Like I had all this stuff, right? So when I know, so I fast forward to the next year and I buy a home and I'm taking things out of storage and I get my stuff, right? There's my vision board. And I stand there and I'm like in tears, like, how the heck did that happen? Because I could check off the majority of that board. And it happened because I had so put it in me so much. That's the power of your belief, that it happened like on autopilot. My body just conditioned in the midst of all that stuff, Michael. Isn't that wild?
It's amazing. And it's reality. It's science. It's not like it's as JM3 will say, our mentor, unicorns and rainbows, there's actually science behind it, which of course we don't have time to get into right now. But we'll have you on again, obviously, and not 78 podcasts later.
But
thank you so much for sharing that. And it's an amazing story, and I've done the same, where it's like, wow.
Right?
How did that happen? When did that happen? And it's again because you're setting that intentional thought process moving forward, because it's really what you love, what you want. Please.
When you're doing that and you're including your body and you're including your heart, and that's like so critical, and that you do that, and then adding to it, not in the guise of the story I just shared, but while you're doing it intentionally and putting your attention, you're also celebrating the heck out of your steps, right?
Remember to celebrate every time you do anything towards an action or just a thought process. Celebrate it, because man, we do not celebrate enough as human beings. We do not. We're too busy beating ourselves up, and we got to turn it around, man, because that's how you get happiness. That's how you get fulfillment.
100%.
Yeah. Amen. So thank you so much, my dear friend, for being on here. So How do people reach you?
Find me on Facebook under the Victory Network, the Victory Network. Come join our group. It's so much fun. If you have a story to tell, I would love to interview you. I also have my show, Create Your Victorious Life. And in a few weeks, I'm launching my podcast, 15 Minutes to Victory. Again, so if you want to be on that too, just find me. I answer my own messenger. So, shoot me a message and we'll get chatting. And thank you, Michael. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm just how much I love you. So
Thank you so
I'm
much.
so grateful
Thank you
to be
so
here.
much.
Thanks.
So as always, we need 3 tips to get veterans further faster.
Okay. The very first thing is love you. Be grateful for you. The fastest way to get anywhere is on that vehicle of love. So love you, love your family. That's one of the biggest things. Thanks, Susan. That's one of the biggest things. The other thing, though, to get you further faster is take a day, just one day, and don't judge. Just grab a notebook and write down everything you think. Everything. Because you don't have to believe every stupid thought you think, but it'll be interesting for you if you do that, how many times you have recurring thoughts. Because what is it? 80% of our thoughts aren't new. Right? Maybe 90%. They're the same old things. So write down every single thing you think and then look at, is it any wonder I have this? Because these are my thoughts. That's like the fastest way to get further faster.
I absolutely love that. Yeah, that's fantastic. And can I take it one step further? Circle the positive thoughts.
100%.
And take the time and circle the positive thoughts. And then, like Cindy said before, look at it again. Yeah. Stack those good ones. Stack the good ones. Thank you so much, Cindy, again for being on. Time is the most valuable resource we have as human beings. We do not get the time back. And thank you for not just here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your brilliance, your love, your light with our audience now and the people listening on the podcast forums later. But just thank you for being you.
Thank you. Love you guys. Thank you.
Everybody, on that note, it's coming. We're out of here.
Thank you for joining us on another insightful journey of Your Thoughts, Your Reality podcast with your host, Michael Cole. We hope the conversation sparked some thoughts that resonate with you. To dive deeper into empowering your thoughts and enhancing your reality, visit empowerperformancestrategies.com. Remember, your thoughts shape your reality, so make them count. Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating the reality you desire. Catch you on the next episode.